Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Detroit Red Wings franchise mode here in NHL 21. So in last episode we had free agency and we also started up the season simulation, and it's been kind of an up and down season so far. We are 19, 18, and 2 as you can see, which is 6 points back of the last playoff spots, currently halfway through the year, so not too bad from a team that didn't make the playoffs at all last season and the season before that. I'm really hoping this team could kind of turn it around down the last stretch. I don't know how much trades we're going to be making, but I really hope that this team can kind of flip it around and somehow squeak into the playoffs. But if we don't, then it's not really the end of the world again, because once again we could get some more prospects in for this team. But anyways, before we simulate more of the season and maybe make some trades at the deadline, we do have one comment to go over, and it's from HawksFan88. He says, "I think I would leave the team as it is for now, since they look like they might turn things around." So I agree with that. They look like they are turning things around a little bit. If we go to our most recent month of simulating, we had a decent amount of wins near the end. We had a 3-game winning streak going into this month, so you never know. But we did suffer an injury to Dingman, who is out for, I don't remember how long, I should check. Only for 6 more days, so he got a concussion, but he should be back to full health in a few days, which is good because we definitely need him. And yeah, we'll probably make some trades maybe at the deadline if this team isn't performing well. I don't know, because obviously we want to be making some trades as a team that might make the playoffs and might not. So yeah, that's pretty much that on that front. Let's start simulating a little bit just to see how this team is. Maybe they're going to be a little bit rocky to start this episode. Maybe the last episode was just a fluke near the end. So let's go to this end of the stretch of games, right to the 19th, where the All-Star break normally would be, and see if this team could win some games. And of course we start off with 2 losses in a row, but it could be because Dingman was out. So hopefully with Dingman back in, we could start winning some games again. There's another loss, another loss, another loss. Okay, we're not turning it around, Hawks fan, unfortunately. We just dropped every single game except for one. And we're now 20, 26, and 2. So we are quite out of it now. We're 16 points back of the Bruins, 15 points back of the Caps. Well, I think that sets in stone how this team is going to simulate, but I mean, we could still simulate up to the deadline before we make any changes. I think, though, there is one trade I definitely want to make, and that is probably trading away somebody like Wong. He's dropped down to a 76. We do have him signed for 1 more year. I would like to take him out of the lineup in favor of Wisnowski, who's an actual center. So let's try and change this around, take out Wong out of the lineup, and see if we could make a trade with Wong and see if that could help out our team a little bit. But yeah, this team is not looking too good right now. I don't know why we're not simulating that good. If it's just because of age and morale or what. Jeez. Oh, Samson jumped up to an 82. Okay, I see you, Samson. I guess Stewart is going to have to go down to the top 6, but he's still listed as a top 4, even though he's dropped down to a 76 because of being unhappy. Interesting. I mean, I could do something like Samson and Hardekinen up and move the 2 veterans down to the top 6, but I don't really want to screw with the morale a little bit. It should be fine the way it is, I guess, still. But yeah, let's try and trade away Wong and see if that helps out our team, because he's one of the bad apples, so one of the bad apples in the bunch. I don't even know if there's going to be any team that wants him. He has like no value whatsoever. We got one from the Rangers. The Rangers are willing to give up just a 7th round pick for him, so we're going to easily do that because I just want to get rid of him. And there you go. So Michael Wong is gone. Sucks that we had to get rid of him, but he was one of those bad apples. Like I said, the chemistry and the locker room, we needed to get rid of somebody. Maybe that will wake up the rest of the guys, because I mean, that means other guys that have had morale issues could be on the block, but I don't know if we'll deal them. Like Stewart and Wall kind of have some morale issues. Matthews still does. I think also, yeah, Hobbs definitely does. Yeah. I really hope this team can turn it around. So yeah, that's the only trade we're going to make for now, I think. Yeah. Wait. We could always change... Belanger to this center spot, move Hobbs down here, Gove into there, actually De Kaiser into there. And let me make sure Hobbs is on the penalty kill. Yeah, he is. Okay, good. So he shouldn't complain about his ice time, hopefully. But it's just because Belanger is an actual center, so we should give him some center time. We could always flop Hobbs to center instead of Wisnowski. Yeah, we might as well try that since Hobbs is better face-off, man. That way we could win a little bit more face-offs because we haven't been winning face-offs in terms of the bottom 6 as often, so... But yeah, that was a really bad way to start off this episode with all those losses. Like, we barely scored goals in those games as well. Like, we got shut out a total of how many times? Three times? 3 times? Yeah, I think we got shut out 3 times this month, which is not good already. Let's go to February the 1st, see if we can win this last game, our last 2 games of the month. After making those line changes, and we lose another one, and we lose another one. So we only won 1 game that month. We did get to a shootout with Washington, but yeah, this team's not making the playoffs. Just based on that month alone, we are way out of it now. The last wildcard spot has 61 points now. We have 43. So we are almost 20 points back. We would need like a Hamburglar type run or something like that, but that's not going to happen. But that means, once again, this offseason, we're going to have to find another good prospect for our system, which is not the end of the world, like I said, but it still kind of sucks. We're going to simulate to a day before the deadline, and then maybe we're going to have to make some trades, and we're dropping a lot of games. But there's a couple wins, at least more wins this month than last month. There's a couple more wins, okay, but there's more losses again. And we're now 24, 33, and 4. Yeah, we're going to have to probably trade away some people with morale issues or let go of people that we don't really want to, because this team is just not simulating well with the morale issues. Because we're now 18 points back of the Penguins for that last wildcard spot. There's no way we're going to make the playoffs. And our offense has been really struggling lately. Let's take a look at our player stats before we go into the deadline. That way we can figure out who's been bad enough to trade. Let's go to centers. So Matthews really slowed down a lot, but he's still pretty good. Powell is still pretty good, but bad defensively. Belanger is a rookie. Hobbs is not great. Since we put in Wisnowski in the lineup, though, he's helped out a lot, so that's actually kind of nice. Henderson, 37 points. This guy's not been that great. I mean, he's not been terrible, but still, he's 35 years old now, so he's dropping probably because of age. Deke is actually getting more of an opportunity. It looks like his plus minus in his career is not that good, but he's up to the same amount of goals as he did last year, so that's a bright spot in this dark team, I should say. We might need a new head coach, though, as well, because Deke is not really a great fit for the top line. Sonnenberg has not been that great of an acquisition, but then again, he was a grinder, so he's not terrible, I would say. Garrison, 49 points, that's pretty good. Dingman, 36 points in 47 games is pretty good too. Gove, 15 points. Stoll, 11 points in 18 games. And De Kaiser, 7 points only. Defensively, Wall and Biggs have been good. Peopleton's been good. Stewart's now a minus 10. So our team completely took a big hit because Stewart was plus 10, I think, before this episode started, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, our defense is the main reason why we're losing, or it's our goaltending, because Stevenson hasn't been good at all. Nguyen's been actually really good still as a backup, but yeah, this is not looking too good. I don't really know who we would want to trade away at the deadline, because Matthews is a core piece of this team, but he's dropping a lot due to morale. Actually, his morale looks like it's getting better because of his ice time, but I don't really know who we want to trade away. Powell's in the last year of his contract, so maybe we ship out Powell at the deadline. I don't know. Let's make some trades maybe at this deadline. Actually, let's see what's wrong with our team. Is it our offense or our defense? It's probably our offense, I would assume, because we're not a good offensive team usually. Let's see. So yeah, we're the second worst offensive team in the league, but goals against, we are not great either. We're right around the middle table, so yeah, this is more offense we need. Our power play percentage is one of the worst in the league as well, and our penalty kill is one of the worst in the league, so our special teams are still trash, and our offense is still trash. I mean, I don't think, there's no way we're going to make the playoffs at this rate, but let's advance a day, get into the deadline. Maybe we'll make some trades. We'll go in as a seller. Yeah, this is seller, and see what teams throw at us for offers, because maybe that will entice me more to trade away somebody. Oh yeah, Biggs is on the last year's deal as well. I think if I was going to trade anybody, it would be probably Phil Powell. But Phil Powell doesn't have morale issues, I don't think, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go to propose trade and take a look at Phil Powell. Just because I don't think he has morale issues. Yeah, he has no morale issues, so it's not that bad to keep him around. Matthews is the one with morale issues, and his value is dropped off because of that. But I don't really want to trade any of those big players. Like anybody above Garrison, or above Belanger, actually, I don't really feel like trading. Like, yeah, I don't really know who we would trade away. There's not really anybody out of here that I would want to move. Definitely not Stevenson, even though he's on the last year of his contract, and we're going to have to give him a big amount of money. Yeah, there's like literally nothing I want to trade. Because most of our players, I think, that are on our roster on our like 1-year deals. I think, yeah, we don't really have anybody locked up long term. So, I mean, I'll just let the computers throw me some offers for a bit. Meanwhile, we'll just take a look at what some of the other players are on the blocks. So, actually, out of curiosity, Biggs is interested in Boston, Philly, and Dallas. Okay, so we know if we're gonna probably get an offer from one of those 3 teams. There's Skirbick for New Jersey. Powell's interested by Dallas as well. Islanders in Nashville. Didn't put really any rest of our players on the block, which is interesting. Let's take a look at each team, see what's available. Gene Salvador, I think that guy was a free agent signing last year. Hey, look, it's our former defenseman Thomas Larson. Quinn Hughes is still playing after all these years. Rocky Rita. What else we got here? So we'll just take a look at what's on the block for most teams, and hopefully the computer throws us maybe some offers that we could consider. If not, then it's not the end of the world. We're not going to obviously stay in this entire deadline, but still. Brad Cork, our former defenseman as well, he's in Nashville. He's on a 5-year deal, jeez. I could have kept him around, but we didn't have really the cap because we ran into a couple cap issues the last few years. Hey, look, another goalie that won us the Stanley Cup, Gustavo Nickel. Teams they only want a 4th-round pick for him, but it's because his contract is so bad. It's funny. Willie Frank, what a cool name. Jaden Rabbit. There's some more random players. Hey, we should have probably signed Lincoln Marlowe in free agency when we were looking for goalies, but I don't know how he's similarly in St. Louis. What else we got here? I'm surprised we haven't gotten an offer yet. We probably will soon. If we don't get any offers, though, then we might just skip through the rest of this and not make any trades and just let the team play out. Because I really don't know who I want to trade away. Like, I don't like parting with some players that I draft, to be honest. Like, Dingman and Dika and Sampson, Biggs, Powell, Matthews, Garrison, Belanger. I'm kind of attached to all those guys already. And then, yeah, the rest of those guys as well, I'm kind of attached to an extent. So, I don't really think we're going to make any more trades unless somebody's going to throw an offer at me, which I don't think is going to happen. But we'll wait a little bit longer just in case. Let's take a look at stats around the league right now while we're in this deadline, just to see who's been playing really good and who will play maybe good down the stretch, just for some fun. So Gormley's leading the league. Geez, this guy's got 90 points already in 62 games. Damn. And then the best goal scorer so far is Como. This guy, I believe, was drafted in like right before one of our players, if I'm not mistaken. I think. And Damian Hamilton's back at 40 goals in 63 games. Jeez. There's some crazy players in this franchise mode. Best defenseman so far is Yolonen. He's over point per game. Best goalie so far for wins is Cedric Boyer. Yeah, the Rangers are a great team right now. Rookie skaters, the best rookie so far is Antilla in Vancouver. Interesting. Where is actually Belanger in terms of rookie scoring? Probably down here because, yeah, 23 points. Not too bad. Yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to get sauced any offers, unfortunately. Yeah, looks like we're not going to get sauced any offers. So let's actually go to the find trade option while we're just here just to see what we could get for some of these players. I'm not going to trade necessarily them away, but for Biggs, we could get a first round pick, a top 6 forward prospect, and a second round pick. I don't really want to do that though, because Biggs is very important, at least for now. So we're going to still keep Biggs around. Let me see what I could get for Phil Powell. No trades found. Interesting. I thought there was teams interested in him. What about for Caden Matthews? No trades found. Yeah, I guess we're not going to be making any trades because I don't want to move out Biggs, and he seems to be the only one generating some interest. So, yeah, I think we're going to exit out of this trade deadline. Unfortunately, no trades made, but at least we got rid of Wong earlier in the season. Jeffrey House, Chuck, whoever you are. Don't really need another player like that. Okay, so now let's simulate the rest of the season because we are definitely not going to be a playoff team unless we somehow win every single game down the stretch. But yeah, we're definitely not going to now because Caden Dingman has separated his shoulder and he's out till June the 4th. So this team is like, well, Dingman seems to be a little bit more injury prone, but this team is literally not having a good year at all. Yeah, this might be worse than last year, but we are winning a lot more games actually near the end of the season, so that's actually really nice to see. But it's kind of hurting our draft lottery chances, but we are having a way better end to this year than I thought we would, and we're going to finish still 35, 40, and 7, which doesn't have us last place in the division, which is good, but yeah, we still were way out of a playoff spot. The Rangers were the last team that just barely made it in somehow. Okay, didn't expect us to make the playoffs after the way we started this episode, and we don't, which is good. We were one of the, I would say, bottom 10 in the league. I don't know if we're going to have a good chance of getting first overall in this year's draft, but we haven't even really taken a good look at the draft class that much. So let's take a look at our player stats and team stats, and then we will see who, or we'll sim up to the draft and stuff like that already, see who wins the cup and all that. So Caden Matthews was still pretty good this year, 69 points in 82 games, 30 goals from him. I don't think I've ever seen him score 30, so that is a career high in goals for him. I don't know why he decided to score 30 goals this year with the team we have. Phil Powell, 57 points. Looks like he picked it up near the end of the season as well. Belanger, 30 points. Not too bad. Obviously, this guy's going to be probably closer to being in our top 6 soon. He's a good fit for our second line, actually, so that's nice. In case we want to let go of Powell, then Belanger could be maybe a second line center. Hobbs, 26 points, so it looks like he picked it up a bit. Wisnowski was fantastic since being put in the lineup. 20 points in 34 games. I mean, he was getting some power play time, and he was playing 9-13 on ice, but that is some really good point production, so maybe we want to keep around Wisnowski because he's only 24. Left wing wise, Cyrus Henderson, who we signed in free agency as the replacement for Savonin, who we couldn't get. 50 points, not too bad, but only 18 goals. We'll take a look at Savonin as well, just because he probably had like another 50-goal season, and he definitely would have helped us out, I think. Dika finished with 27 goals and 41 points, so not too bad of a year for our youngster on Isaac Dika. Looks like he could hit 40 maybe next season easily. Obviously, his plus minus needs to get better, but that's going to be getting better when our team gets better, which hopefully is pretty soon. Sonnenberg, 23 points, not too bad. Garrison, 70 points. So Garrison leading the team in points. This was a career high for him. Really liking that. He is still signed for one more season after this. Dingman, 37 points in 49 games. He missed a lot this year, which is unfortunate. Hopefully he isn't like really injury prone because we did lock him up for 4 more seasons after this. Rodrigo Stoll had 25 points in 37 games to replace Caden Dingman, so he's actually pretty good. Gove, 20 points. To Kaiser, 10 points. Defensively, Biggs had 47 points, so that's pretty solid from Biggs. Hopefully we could bring him back because he's had a pretty solid career. Wall, 32 points. That's actually pretty good. There's a good chance he could retire this year. But if he doesn't retire this year, then he might retire next year. Or he probably would retire this next year, because his potential dropped to a top 6 D, so I feel like he could retire this year. I hope he doesn't, though, to an extent, but he could ask for a lot of money, so maybe we do hope he retires. Stapleton, 21 points. Stewart, 18 points, and he became an even 0, so he fixed his plus-minus again, so that's good to see him finish at least even, because last year he was a minus 16, so, and that was only the second time he was a minus player. Samson was a minus 23, but he is developing, so that's great news. He's going to probably be in our top 4 next season, which means I don't know if I want to keep around Jose Stewart is the thing. I don't know where he's going to fit into our top 4, but we're going to have to make it work. Hardikainen as well had the exact same amount of points as Samson, and they were both minus 23. Goalie-wise, Stevenson was, I wouldn't say terrible, but he wasn't great. He's not the main reason we, it's not because of him that we lost games, though. It's because of our defense. And then Nguyen was really good as a backup. He's probably going to be retiring soon as well. I wouldn't be surprised if he retires now, too. But that's that. Let's take a look at the entire league quickly. We just took a look at this. So Gormley did finish first in points, 112 points from him. Deschamps right behind him with 108, and same with Noah Evans. The most goals this year was Como with 55. Hamilton finished with 49, so that guy only scored 9 goals down the stretch, but yeah, that guy's still a really good goal scorer. Best defenseman for points was still Yolonen with 92 points, and then Gorn with 91, so one of those two guys is going to win the Norris for sure. They had really good plus-minus stats as well. Then we go to goaltenders. Cyrus Hawes had the most wins. The most shutouts for a goalie was Wesley Keith. Best save percentage is Arcabello with a 923 for the Florida Panthers. Interesting. Best goals against by a starter as well as Arcabello. So Arcabello is more than likely going to be a Vezina winner. Best rookie for points this year was Antillo with 76 points. And where did Belanger finish? All the way down here, but still not a bad season for Belanger on a team that didn't do too well. Let me take a quick look at our AHL affiliate, just because I don't really check this that often. I just want to see who did what from our AHL team. So yeah, we had Alexandrov down here. Looks like his morale's gone back up, but he had a really good year down there in the AHL. Schumacher had a good season. Hopefully he continues to develop. Yeah, looks like we got some good point production down there. So the AHL team might be in the playoffs. It looks like some lines were really badly minus, so maybe not. And in the goaltending situation, yeah, it looks like we're going to be in the playoffs, I think, for down there in the AHL. So that's good news. Okay, so that is that. Now, what was I going to check? Oh, yeah, the team stats, because we were just in the player stats. And then we will assimilate to the off-season stuff already. So in terms of the entire league, we're going to be probably right now near the bottom. Okay, never mind. We're 22nd, so we finished a lot higher than I was hoping. Hopefully the draft lottery somehow gets us to move all the way from this spot to number 1. I've had it happen before. Goals for per game. We were the second worst offensive team in the NHL, so obviously that needs to continue to get better. So hopefully there's some good forwards in this year's draft we can get. And in goals against per game, we were probably not too good either. Yeah, we're a little bit below halfway, so not terrible, but not good at all. So power play percentage was still one of the worst in the league, so we still need to get our special teams better as well. And our penalty kill actually improved near the end of the season, so yeah, it looks like we just need to be a much better offensive team, and then we might be able to make the playoffs. So that's that. Let's continue to assimilate and find out all the retirements as well. Find out who wins the Stanley Cup for this 2039 season. Because we only have 5 more seasons left, I think. So I think this Detroit series is probably going to be ending within the next maybe probably right around the start of NHL 22. I'm not sure actually, but still, we're getting pretty close to the end of this because we haven't been able to make the playoffs. So who's gonna win the Stanley Cup this year? And then we're gonna have to take a look at the roster to see if there's any former players, because that's always fun. Who's going to be the Stanley Cup champion? Is it gonna be Rohan House and Anaheim again? It's gonna be Vegas. Okay, Vegas wins the Stanley Cup, and Wilkes-Barre is going to win the Calder Cup. Let's take a look who's on Vegas, because I don't really know if any of our former players went to Vegas. I don't think so. I know De Kaiser, who we used to have, was originally from there, but oh yeah, they had that rookie that went right before our pick, or right maybe around second overall. That's kind of interesting. But they had Keeping, Hoagland, Tshirgle, McIver, Recchi. What else did they got? They got Harold Ho, who looks like a really good player. Kolosov, Czechmanik, Addison, who was in Tampa Bay multiple times when we played them. Antropov and Jensen. Nugent Hopkins. There's Emery, who went second overall in the same draft that Dika went. Elijah Boys and Benjamin Dawes. Defensively, not really anybody I recognize either. And in goaltending, oh, are you kidding me? They had Alexei Punos. So our goaltender that was with us as a backup, I think, when we won the Stanley Cup mostly. I think. I don't remember exactly, but he goes to win a Stanley Cup with Vegas. He didn't have the greatest regular season, but in the playoffs he picked it up. So Punos has won a cup for Vegas. Interesting. And a goalie named Bo Bennett. Interesting. That's cool too. So that is the Vegas Golden Knights. Okay. Let's take a look at the playoff tree first before we go to the awards. So Vegas won over Philadelphia. Interesting. Winnipeg got to the conference finals. Let's take a look at those awards. So Vegas the Cup. Washington won another President's Trophy for the second straight year. Vegas Philly Stanley Cup Finals. Gormley wins the Art Ross for Winnipeg, but doesn't get them to the Stanley Cup Finals. Noah Edmonds is going to win the Hart. He got the Flyers to the finals, but they lost. Gordon's going to win the James Norris. Blacker's going to win the Lady Byng. And Taylor wins the Calder for Vancouver. Ho for Vegas is going to win the Conn Smythe. Arcabello wins the Vezina for the second straight season. Wesley Keith wins the William M. Jennings. Datsuk wins the Masterton for Philadelphia. Geez, a female won a Jack Adams, so that's actually probably a first that ever happened. So history has been made. Congrats to, I would assume, Nora or something like that. Wait, interesting. She's got really killer hair too, though. Gunnarsson wins the Selke. Evans is going to win the Lindsay, and Como is going to win the Maurice Richard. So, pretty interesting season, especially when a female wins a Jack Adams. You don't see that every day, especially in this. Let's take a look at the AHL quickly just to see if there's any awards for our AHL affiliate, but I don't think so. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Looks like Bouillon was still playing in the AHL, and he scored the most goals down there. It's annoying to me that the Islanders are just letting this guy sit in the minors. Like, I had to trade him away because of cap reasons, and then he goes down there and plays, and he's been really good. Okay, so that is that. Now we can sim up to the draft and find out the retirements and where we're going to be drafting, and then that'll be pretty much it for this episode. Where are we going to be drafting? Please randomly move up. And we are not going to be moving up. We fall back one spot from 10 to 11, so we don't have a top 10 pick this year, which really sucks. We could always try and package our pick with something else and move up into the top like 5 or so, but I don't really know who I would want to do because I don't really want to move any of our players to an extent. But Chicago's got first. Carolina moves from 8 to 2, and Edmonton moved from 11 to 3. Damn, we were so close to being right where Edmonton was. And instead we're going to fall back and Edmonton moves up to 3rd. Interesting. So 11th overall, we could probably still get a good player around that spot. So retirement-wise, DeBrincat retires. Former player of ours, Andrei Svechnikov, retires. Interesting. He was in the AHL his last year. But yeah, he was a really good player for us for a few seasons. Kakiniemi also retires. He was really good, especially with the Rangers. I'm pretty sure he was playing with Hamilton a lot. Wong Ratty retires as well. He was also really good in the simulation. Doc. I'm going to scroll through the rest of this. Stefan Bouillon retired already? Oh my god, I was not expecting that. Wow. Well, it's good we didn't keep him around. He dropped off actually off a cliff. What the heck? But Stefan Bouillon, what an interesting career for this guy. Finishes with 684 points in 737 career games. Coming off back-to-back really good seasons in the AHL, but he retires at 34. This guy is a Detroit legend. As you can see, he played 3 years in Milwaukee, goes to Nashville for 2 years. We trade for him because we see how good of a player he looks like. And, well, he was fantastic for us for a long time. And then we trade him to the Islanders because we needed the cap. He plays in the AHL for 2 years, lights it up down there. But he does retire at 34 years old. He also had really good playoff stats as well, like the 16 goals the year we won the cup. Yeah, he was a fantastic player for this franchise. Really sucks to see him retire already. Was not expecting that at all, and he was over a point per game in the preseason, which is kind of cool too. But Stefan Bouillon, a Detroit legend, retires. Bam, there's one of them gone. I don't know who's going to be the next one to retire, but damn. At least we didn't draft him, because when we draft players, I always get attached to them. We had Jacob Melanson for a bit, didn't we? I think I remember having Melanson on our... Yeah, we did have him way back here. He retires as well. We had him like on our 4th line. Not as much of a legend, but still. We also had Hoglander for like 1 season, or part of 1 season. Man, I hate it when players that you have on your team retire. That Housechuck guy retires at 32. Interesting. Any other former players of ours? I might end up missing somebody. Hopefully not. I think that's probably it for our former players of ours. Yep. Best goalies to retire. Warren Tuzolino. That guy we played a lot in the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. Like, didn't this guy beat us in one stage? Yeah, this guy beat us when he played for New Jersey. And he went to the Cup Finals and lost. He retires at 34. He's the best goalie to retire. There's also Kemp, Malik, and Nazarov. But, the big retirement, Stefan Bouillon, probably the best player from this retirement class. I would say, well, not necessarily the best, but he finished 4th best in goals in this retirement class. He played the least amount of games out of these big name players as well, but was near a point per game in his career. So, best of luck in retirement, Stefan Bouillon, as we quit through that. Coach retirements, we did not lose anybody except for Tate Kavanaugh for Grand Rapids. And we do also lose a scout to retirement. It's an OHL scout, so we need another OHL scout. Let's continue to simulate and take a look at that draft class, and then we'll take a look at our progress reports and our contract situation, and that'll be it for this episode. So we have the 11th overall pick this year. Sucks that we're not going to get this Bomeister dude who's a good sniper apparently, because we do need the offense. Looks like we could go with somebody like Dylan Scoville, who doesn't look fantastic to be honest right now. I don't know how good he is though. There also might be a chance at Giuliano. And there's also a chance at an offensive defenseman that's NHL ready. Or 1 year away from being NHL ready. Well, I think we should probably go with Peter Kolnick. Yeah, I think we should probably go for Peter Kolnick. He might be a top 4 though with like really high overall, so he might not develop much, but still a right-handed shot as well. That might not be a bad option. There's also Lilia, who looks like he's NHL ready as well actually, so maybe we go with Cali Lilia. I don't know, really depends on who's available then, but Lilia looks like he's going to be probably the better of the two, I would assume. Let me take a look at these again. Yeah, it looks like Lilia is a little tiny bit better. And Jarl Goodbranson, jeez, this guy looks like he's NHL ready too. I don't know if I could actually say the scouts are accurate, but one of these 3 is probably a good pick to get for our defensive core. But we do need offense more than defense, which is the only thing. Like, if we wanted to, we could try and move up to get somebody like Jaskin, who looks like a top 6 forward, probably. Yeah, top 6 forward, more than likely. There's also Yoshimura, Ranger. we don't know a whole lot about. Ferguson. What else we got here? Komachi, who's a medium elite sniper. If we could try and move up to this pick, then that might not be a bad option to do, but I don't really know if we want to try and move up. There's also Jenks, who's another sniper. Kozlov, who's a defenseman. Cruz, who we don't know not too much about what type of player he is. And Bomeister. So there's a decent amount of snipers, actually, within the earlier stages of the draft. Or we could end up going with one of these 3 defensemen. So that's that. Let's take a look at the progress reports. See any developments. So it looks like the guys are just getting some growth. Same with Samson. Ciolfito's pretty much NHL ready. So we are going to have some younger guys in the lineup next year. And let's go to in the system. Looks like we're getting some other good development from guys that aren't going to be in the NHL yet. Like Schumacher's up to a 77 now. Blum as well. Stuff is looking bright for the future at least, but we are running pretty low on time, so that's not good. And finally, let's take a look at our contract situation again, just so you guys can be familiar with who we might be letting go in next episode of, or who we should be letting go of. So we need to bring back Biggs. We got Powell still. Henderson, I don't know if he's going to come back. Stewart. Like a lot of these guys probably do not want to come back. So I'm going to leave that type of stuff up to you guys. Goalie-wise, Stevenson needs a big contract because this is his last year as an RFA. So we might have to give him like an 8-year deal. And yeah, that's pretty much that. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Detroit Red Wings franchise mode. So in next episode, we will start up another offseason with the draft and re-sign stage as we look to continue to build up this team so they eventually make the playoffs before we run out of time. So let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.